Okay, let me ask you a question. What do you think is the toughest animal on Earth? You're probably picturing something big, like a bear or maybe a shark. Something with big teeth, right? Well, what if I told you the toughest animal we've ever found is a tiny, microscopic, 8-legged creature. A little guy that can be boiled, frozen solid, crushed by insane pressure, and even, you guessed it, survive the empty vacuum of space. Get ready to meet my favorite little weirdo, Tardigrade. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this. This tiny animal is a real-life superhero. Alright, look at these guys. They're called tardigrades, but people also call them water bears. Because, look at them. They're so pudgy and they kind of lumber around like a bear. My personal favorite nickname is Moss Piglet. They are tiny. We're talking about 0.5 millimeter long. You've probably walked right past millions of them today and had no idea. They live pretty much everywhere where there's a little bit of water. In the moss of your backyard, in puddles, or on the side of a tree. They're all over the place. And while they look like something straight out of a video game, their real superpower isn't how they look. It's how they survive. So, how do they do it? What's the secret sauce? It all comes down to a mind-blowing ability called cryptobiosis. It literally means hidden life. And that's exactly what it is. When things get bad, like their little mossy home completely dries up, Tardigrade doesn't just die. It enters the world's most extreme power nap. Squeezes almost all the water out of its body, going from 85% water down to just 3%. Its metabolism basically stops. We are talking about less than 0.01% of its normal rate. It hits the pause button on life itself to stop its cells from just falling apart. Creates these special sugars and proteins that rush in and replace the water. This mixture turns its insides into a type of biological glass, locking everything important, like its DNA and its proteins, safely in place. It becomes a tiny speck that's almost impossible to destroy. And the most amazing part? Just add a single drop of water, and it comes back to life. It wakes up, stretches its tiny legs, and crawls away as if nothing happened. This works even if it's been in that state for decades. Okay, this is where it gets truly unbelievable. So, just how strong is this special ton state? Get ready for this. Let's start with temperature. They can survive being frozen to nearly absolute zero at minus 272 degrees Celsius, which is colder than the emptiest parts of deep space. On the other hand, they can also be boiled at temperatures hotter than 150 degrees Celsius. For them, it's just not a problem. What about pressure? They can handle being crushed by a force 6 times stronger than the pressure at the bottom of the deepest ocean. And they can also survive the complete opposite, the total vacuum of outer space, where there is no pressure at all. And here's the biggest hurdle for space travel is radiation. The deadly solar and cosmic radiation found in space that would instantly kill a human. Tardigrade can survive hundreds of times that lethal dose and just shake it off as if it were nothing. So in 2007, scientists, being scientists, decided to do the craziest thing they could think of. They loaded thousands of these tardigrades onto a satellite for a mission called Photon M3 and launched them directly into space. And they weren't tucked safely inside the spacecraft. Oh no, the scientists put them on the outside of the spacecraft for 10 full days. These tiny creatures were directly exposed to the brutal, unforgiving environment of space. Some groups were only exposed to the vacuum, but others were hit with the absolute worst of it, the vacuum plus a full, unfiltered blast of deadly solar radiation. So after 10 days in the void, the satellite returned to Earth. Scientists rushed the samples to the lab and performed that same simple trick. They just added water. And the result? What do you think happened to the tiny astronauts? They didn't just survive. They thrived. Tardigrades that were only exposed to the vacuum of space, most of them rehydrated and woke up completely fine, as if nothing had happened. But here's the truly unbelievable part. Even a few of the ones that took the full, unfiltered blast of deadly solar radiation also survived. And it gets crazier. They didn't just live. They went on to lay eggs, which hatched into healthy baby tardigrades. They are the first animals ever confirmed to survive and reproduce after being exposed to the raw vacuum and radiation of space. This discovery is much more than just a cool science fact. It could genuinely change the world. Scientists have found that tardigrade's secret weapon is a unique protein they've nicknamed damage suppressor. Think of it like this. This damage suppressor protein physically wraps itself around the tardigrade's DNA, forming a protective little cloud. This cloud acts like a personal shield, protecting the DNA from being shredded by things like radiation. Imagine if we could use their secrets. We could make vaccines and medicines that don't need to be kept in a fridge. We could create better radiation shields for cancer patients or for astronauts on a long trip to Mars. The number of things we could do is amazing, and it's all because of this tiny tardigrade. So the next time when you see a patch of moss, just remember, you might be looking at a home for the toughest creatures we've ever found. They prove that life is stronger and stranger than we ever imagined, and that even the smallest animals can teach us the most important lessons. I'd love to know what you guys think. What other amazing animal survivors should we cover next? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one. And hey, if your mind was blown today, then do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps the channel to grow. Thanks for watching.